The most desired physical look in the world, by far, is not a big chest, is not gigantic arms, and it's not Hercules' legs. It's the six-pack. But the thing is, most people on the path they're on won't ever come close to achieving one in their entire lifting careers. It's not that you can't get the six-pack, but it's that most people don't know how to get the six-pack. And the sad truth is, it's not even their fault. But I'm going to tell you how you can really get a six-pack. How you radiate with confidence when you finally take your shirt off at the beach instead of hiding behind some garbage cans. Now, it's up to you. If you'll seize the opportunity to listen, then I'm all yours. But if you let it pass by like most do, I can't help you. You are here to get healthy. We all are. So plain and simple, right off the bat, no need to keep secrets. The main reason that most people want a six-pack or any sort of abdominal prominence is because it's a very good indicator of a low body fat percentage. In fact, it is an indicator of low body fat percentage. Because of the natural shaping of our body and our space distribution, most of the fat storage just goes wherever it has space. And that in the body is usually the chest or the stomach, more so the stomach. But the thing is, because all the fat is stored here, it does a bit of an injustice to the abs who are just trying to get some air under all that. I'm sure you've heard something like this before, but everyone has abs. Just like everyone has biceps, triceps, pecs, and quads. But the abs are admittedly a bit different from every other muscle because you can't signify them if they're not visible. All the other muscles are always visible, but the abs are quite literally hidden by the skin. Also, when people do create a solid set of abs, it doesn't bulge the skin outwards like all the other muscles do. They just become more defined. But the caveat with the abs is that you cannot see them unless you have this one key tip down. And it's this one key tip that keeps a lot of novices and beginners into lifting from actually making gains. They get scammed by influencers who just want clicks rather than what's best for the people. It's this one key tip that can bring you down or lift you up. So at this point, we're all very well aware that even if you do train your ab muscles correctly for growth, which we'll get to later, you can't see them without a respectable body fat level. We've established that in the first part of the video. However, the myth that most influencers have been using to trick you is the spot reduction myth. These influencers coerce people into clicking and liking their videos, but those same people will never like their physique if they actually listen to those videos. Because let me tell you something real quick. It is impossible to spot reduce fat. Now what that means is, if you're working out a specific local area of the body, one specific muscle group, then the only thing that's going to happen is that muscle group is going to grow and adapt to stress. It's not going to lose fat just because you trained it, even with the high body fat percentage. If a muscle becomes more visible, it's not because you're losing fat around the area, it's because that muscle is growing. The idea that it's possible to spot reduce fat is unfortunately manipulating more people than it really should. Many beginners, intermediates, and even advanced lifters who are looking to cut down are genuinely convinced, young or old, that a 10 to 20 minute bodyweight abs workout will actually have them looking like a Greek god. That is not the case in any world, shape, or form. And for our sake, just for 1 second, disregard the fact that it's impossible to spot reduce fat. What could a 10 to 20 minute workout genuinely do for your improvement? I'm going to tell you how these influencers get through to you, even when it's so obvious that what they're doing won't work. It's because they come after your most valuable asset, which is not a six-pack and will never be a six-pack. It's your time. Because so many of us lead hustle and bustle lives, 10 to 20 minute workouts, routines, morning routines, night routines, sleep in 10 minutes, all of this nonsense that's spewed out there is automatically attractive to us because we don't have time, or we don't make time to connect with the world around us and to really put grit into things. However, there's some things that not even time can beat. Something that time was created as a friend for. Something you cannot fool. Nature. Now, to prove the science, consider the following. Would you feel like you burn more calories doing a 10-minute tummy tuck workout or 10 minutes running as fast as you can around your whole neighborhood? Probably the second option, but why am I even telling you to worry about burning calories anyways? Well, we've established that lowering our fat levels is essential to seeing that all-world six-pack. But you don't reduce your fat by spending 10 minutes on a yoga mat because number one, 10 minutes isn't enough to do anything, and number two, the fat's not going to disappear off your tummy because you're crunching it over and over again. You reduce fat not just around your stomach, but around your whole body by burning more calories than you eat in a day. I know, who thought it's that simple? But it really is. It's one law of the universe, math and thermodynamics, all crafted into the perfect six-pack formula. Now let's break it down like an actual fitness influencer who cares about your health would. Now the good thing to calorie burning is that you actually burn a lot more calories per day than you think you do because of your resting calories. Thinking thoughts, maintaining neural connections, breathing, fidgeting, etc., all the metabolic processes of your body and all the unnatural, unconscious movements you may perform throughout the day can actually burn quite a bit of what we call resting calories and NEAT calories. Combined together, they're what make up the basis of non-active calories. Now, active calories are what we burn when we're actually physically performing a task. Now, let's assume you work a 7 to 8 hour sedentary desk job shift. Let's say you come home that night, you chillax a little, you go for a walk, you walk your dog, you eat your food, you watch some TV to wind down, do a few push-ups if you feel up to it. Now, you actually probably burned about 300 intense active calories throughout the day. Just from the walking, maybe walking in your office, all that kind of stuff. But the problem is, that's a generous estimate for the way that most people lead their lives. Even 300 may be guessing a little too high for the way that a lot of Americans are leading their lifestyles. And not just Americans, but worldwide with the social media epidemic and people mindlessly scrolling through some nonsense and garbage they see online for a few minutes of a dopamine boost. So there's no point in doing the math here because the amount of active and resting calories you'll burn through the day depends on your mass, your job, and your activity. So I'm linking a calorie counter in the description below, which can be extremely helpful to figure out what your maintenance is. The key guideline here is if you weigh yourself and then a week later you weigh yourself and you have gained weight, assuming through those 7 days your routine was pretty regular, then you are eating more than you burn. And vice versa if you lose weight. Like we said, the body has a daily checklist. Maintaining neural connections, cleaning out inflammatory byproducts, potentiating neurons, digesting food. There's so much unknown stuff that goes on behind the scenes to keep us, us. Now, because the cells and the units of life in our body are so small, people are under the misconception that this takes up little energy. But we have hundreds of millions of these cells. So going back to the point, if we don't have enough energy to even maintain the metabolic functions our body needs to perform daily to live, even while factoring in the active calories that we burn through the day from walking, running, exercising if you do, if we still don't have enough energy to maintain our structure, even with the food we intake, then our body will use its own resources in the form of burning fat. Gradually over enough time, this causes fat loss, your fat cells get smaller, your fat deposit storage ultimately shrinks, and your abs start becoming a lot more visible than you ever thought they would have been. That still doesn't give us the chiseled look that we're looking for. That tone we see in many of these people who have defined, well put together, structured, solid abs. Now the formula is simple, and it's been simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Even though we admitted earlier in the video that the abs are a bit of a different muscle because we can't see them regularly, they're still a muscle. Improving ab musculature is just like improving any other muscle in the body. Prioritize excellent form and technique with a full range of motion, and choose a weight heavy enough to go to failure. Yes, this means that the bodyweight crunches you've been pumping out for 10 minutes straight on end do nothing except make you feel good. That's all they make you do. They have done nothing for your abs, and they likely never will do nothing for your abs in the long run. With these tips, you won't fall into the endless trap of 10-minute belly fat workout weight loss videos? Because you just know they're not true. You can show all those scammers and influencers that by sticking to a dedicated, gradual, healthy plan, that's more effective than any 20 minutes of your life will ever be. Remember, in the gym and in life, subtle differences can lead to substantial progress. There is no ego involved in self-improvement, so make sure you prioritize technique, honesty, and dedication, and the results will come. Now with that said, I'd definitely like to give some shoutouts before signing off. I'm linking some really helpful fitness tools in the description that many have used and are backed by science to really accelerate your progress in the gym, and I didn't want you guys missing out on them. Additionally, I'm linking all of my socials in the description as well, so you guys can keep up with the content whenever and wherever you are, feeling free to check out the best advice on the internet in a matter of clicks. And with that said, this is Aryan Mehta with Simple Fitness Gains, saluting you guys off for now. Remember to stay cognizant of the content you consume and stay tuned in the future for more content.